Hello everyone, I am Heavy Shadow Sound and I speedrun Celeste and I also play a lot of different other video games. Today we're going to be doing Celeste any percent, but Celeste is normally timed in in-game time, and for marathons and such, I'll be doing this in RTA. And so basically Celeste is a 2018 platforming video game released by Extremely OK Games. And it is a fantastic game. Highly recommend checking it out. And especially if you want to start speedrunning a game, this is generally a lot of people's first choice for a speedrun. And the community itself, the game makers, they wanted everybody to start speedrunning this game in an event in October to November, and that's when I got my start. And yeah, I'm very excited to show this game off for everyone today. And I'm very thankful to be a part of this event. Thank you, Daragamuffin, and to everyone involved. So we'll go ahead and get started here in a little bit. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so really quick, I've got a button set that I can do a cutscene skip. LB is both down and confirm. So that allows me to skip cutscenes really quickly. This right here is prologue, which we only have 2 mechanics. We can only climb... Oh, excellent. Accidentally died at the cutscene trigger, so... But this is for real, no resets, we're doing it. So sometimes that can happen if you miss the trigger. And we just got our dash. So, I mean, overall it's not too terrible, but that's the first time I've died in prologue, but it's okay, it's gonna get a lot better. So up next we got Forsaken City, which is the first real level in the game. Now that we have all our base mechanics, our runs, jumps, and... dash, jump, and... heck, I can't remember. Climbing, that's what it was. Oh no. It's okay though, we'll get the hang of it in a second here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a wall boost. That'll get us up to there really quickly. Do a wave dash. So basically you have these 3 mechanics and they sort of synergize in really interesting ways. Like if you duck and jump and dash at the same time, that's a hyper. So it's like that. Well, that was more of a wave dash, but anyways, there's a whole bunch of crazy movement in this game, and momentum also plays a big part in this. In horizontal sections, you actually can retain momentum, so like if I do a hyper dash here, it'll give me that speed into the next screen. We also have some extended hyper dashes in which I delay the jump a little bit in order to get my dash back. And that helps for traversing like really large open like pits, basically. But this level's fairly basic. This right here is a little tough. I'm gonna try to do a wave dash off of here, and then we're gonna do a wall kick off that spike, and now skip the block from us having to use the block, and we're just about done with this. My brain just like... It's difficult to talk about this game and play it at the same time, but I'm doing my best. But yeah, that's Forsaken City. Only 2 deaths, so that's really not too bad at all so far. Next up we got Old Site, which is going to introduce a couple of new mechanics. Well, really just one, I think. Dream blocks. You can actually go through those whenever we turn them on, and you'll get your dash back and sort of just go through them. But as of right now, Madeline is in a dream-like state. She's dreaming at the campfire. And, here, let me try this again. There we go. So as I said, you can sort of preserve your movement between horizontal transitions. And that's really important for some strats. Just skip the cutscene there, and now the dream blocks are on. And we're just sort of making our way up to the top here. And this section here is pretty funny, so we're gonna take it a little slow. This right here is Battleline. She is a part of us, and she mainly represents the more negative things like fears and anxieties that people may have. So as Madeline is trying to traverse this mountain, she's definitely welcomed by a lot of things that she doesn't understand. There is, in fact, a really great story to this game, even though I skip most of the cutscenes because they're slow. But I highly encourage anybody who thinks this game may be interesting to check it out. And especially, like, if you feel like it'd be a fun speedrun to learn, you should definitely learn it. There is all kinds of really cool tools and stuff out there to help you get to speed. Another function of this cutscene button is it allows me to die quickly if I sort of mess something up, which I've been doing a whole lot, but we finally got it. So Battleline is doing our exact movements delayed by about a second and a half. So we're sort of making our movement in a way that Battleline will sort of let us be. And I sort of have this like weird, like almost like a stuttering type of motion so that she doesn't really bother me in that section. You can also jump out of a dream block, and it helps with certain things, and you can sort of chain dashes together. Alright, so we skipped that cutscene, and now we're awake, and basically it's like the same section that we just did, but there's no dream blocks. So it's pretty much just pure traversal at this point. And hitting the springs do slow you down, but you know, that's kind of just what we do here, I guess. And that's Old Site. So we died a couple times, but it's all good. Next up, we've got Celestial Resort, and this is where the run really begins. So we've got all this section to sort of move along. And we also get introduced to everyone's favorite new addition to this level, Dust Bunnies, which introduce cycles. And there's also keys, in which this is how we get into the resort. We're gonna meet somebody named Oshiro here. And he is the proprietor of this fine establishment. It's a little dusty, but it's all good. You know, we're not really gonna judge him. Nobody really wants to climb mountains anymore. It's kind of tough, kind of exhausting to do so. But, you know, generally, we're just trying to make our way through. And there's definitely a lot of dust bunnies, and there's some that cling to the walls. So, you know, you gotta do your best to avoid those. That's him over there. And so we're just making our way through. But this is like the first essentially real level in the run, because you could pretty much get through the other two fairly quickly, but this one is a little bit more of a hassle, as you can so see. So one of the really fun things about this game is that everybody has different ways to tackle every single room. There's people that do it insanely fast, and they basically just like spend only like a little bit of each moment on the screen. What I just did there was collect a whole bunch of coins, and that opened a door. That's going to be a common mechanic that we'll see in Celeste. Just grabbed our keys so that we can open this door over here. And we're almost to our next section. You know, Oshiro has been kind of going through some stuff, so everything's a huge mess right now. This section here is called the Huge Mess. And so we need to make our way over to him and talk to him. Hopefully getting this kind of decent. So we talked to him real quick, and now there's 3 ways open to us. So first I'm going to do bottom, and then top, and then middle. And these sort of like, in the end of these, you get a certain item removed from the platforming, essentially, cleaning it up. And this over here is a little bit of a tough room for me. but it's all good. We get through it fairly easily. Gonna attempt to do a wall kick. I've been having a little trouble with this. We got it. It always feels really good to get a first try, but it doesn't always happen for me. So we got all that sorted out, and now we're on to the next room, which is the top. So pretty much you just have to deal with the cycles of these dust bunnies for the most part. Ah, unlucky. So I'll take it a little slower here. And this room is really cool. I like this one a lot. That gets rid of our books, and so we've got one more area to go to, and this is the middle. We see our friend Theo over there, but we don't really say much to him. We got things to do. This section can be a little troublesome at times, but we'll do our best to make our way through. Pretty much it's all just managing cycles and making sure you don't jump at the wrong time and that sort of thing. It's very dangerous, but we'll make it through. And that's basically Huge Mess. We got a key right there and didn't drop down to the bottom, so that's very good. Oshiro's right there. And next, this is elevator shaft. Many a loathed Celeste player's checkpoint. We're gonna do some more collecting of coins to open this door here. All right. And coming up here is gonna be a really fun trick in this next couple screens, I believe. And it's gonna be like a pixel perfect kind of thing to skip 2 rooms, which is pretty much essential if you want to start getting pretty decent times in this game. So we're gonna go down here and get this checkpoint for safety. And I'm gonna line my foot up with this pixel here, and then we just demo dash right through. And that skips 2 rooms, saving us a lot of time. That was a crouch dash, which is most commonly known as a demo dash because it was discovered by Demo Jameson, who also made the speedrun tool for this game, which is very helpful. But we just passed Oshiro and we said some mean things to him, so now he's really mad at us and he's chasing us. And that's generally not too great. And a lot of people hate this part of the game. Oh, yeah, me especially. So that didn't go super well, but you kind of have to expect that he's not gonna do everything that you want all the time. So we're making our way through this section with him chasing us. That's pretty much the main thing, but you know, honestly, he just kind of just psychs you out. So once you know sort of like what he does, he's not really a huge issue. Just pretty much just focusing on landing in safe spots, and you know what he's doing. So if we do a quick bunny hop here, we don't need to worry about him at all at that screen. And this is the final screen of the level. It's a very long one, so it's gonna hurt a lot if I die anywhere. And hopefully we don't do that. Especially in any of the final screens, in any of the levels, you gotta be extra careful to not die on those. And that was extremely close, but we made it. Almost. Ugh. See, this game will humble you very quickly if you decide, oh, hey, I got it. It's super easy, you know? It listens to you, and it knows, you know, when to make itself known that you are not in control of it. You can also bonk him on the head, and that's always really funny whenever he's making you angry. All right, that's Resort. So that's not really too bad. It's 7:30 or 7:25. Alright, next up we got Golden Ridge, which this is going to introduce clouds, bubbles, and wind. And so we get our first cloud over here. There's also pink clouds, which you'll only be able to use them once. So you have to, you know, be aware of those. But it's pretty much just pure platforming over here to this point. We talked to Grandma a little bit. You know, we almost got crushed in her driveway, by the way, so that's who that is. Prologue is kind of fast, so I didn't really have time to explain who everyone is. So we take that pink cloud, go over here, and do our best to kind of get through these platforms here. But yeah, Madeline only has one dash. Over here, we're gonna do a strat called RTA, in which I did a demo dash into a bubble, and it allows me to shrink my hurt box in order to get past that spike at the beginning. Next thing, I'm gonna use this wind here to do some neutrals, in which I sort of jump off the wall without holding any particular direction, and then also using my stick to swing back into the wall. And then you also have these little blocks that you can ride up, and they're kind of fun. Some people skip them entirely, but you know, I think they're cool. So I'll use them. But yeah, it's pretty much I don't know. This is just a very nice fresh breath of air after having to deal with a resort, which it's a lot, and it can kind of stress you out sometimes. But after a while, this one isn't nearly as stressful. There's also wall kicks, so I'll be doing wall kicks a lot. Do something a little safer here. Oh, whoops. It happens. You're gonna die a lot in Celeste, so even people who are really fast die all the time. So it's not really like a huge deal if you die. Death is a part of the experience. Dang. It happens though. Sometimes you just have a strat and it doesn't really work out. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if I had a strat for that at all, but it happened. There's a sort of improvised sort of quality to Celeste. This here is a puzzle with a moving block, but we just pretty much can just go ahead and wait. Some people skip this part, but I like the writing on the blocks. They're fun. Hit these two tiny little platforms down here, and then make our way across. This right here is a very troublesome room for a lot of people, I imagine. So we got wind that's turning on and off, basically. But it was no problem for us, and now we're on the last checkpoint, which is cliff face. And this is where things get kind of intense, because all of a sudden people are starting to throw snowballs at you. Well, I don't know if it's really people, they just might be disembodied snowballs, but in any case, they're out to get you. And the wind has definitely picked up a lot. And they will basically kill you if you land into them, but if you land on them, you'll be able to get your dash back. So there is also room for strategies using these. That was extremely close. As you can see, they will get you if you let them. All right, so that's fairly good. You could also do fast bubbling out of these bubbles by dashing immediately after you get into them. The crumbling blocks will also crumble faster if you jump on them. And this here is the final screen of the level, basically. So if we do this deathless, then that's pretty nice. If we don't, then that's expected. But hey, we did it. All right, and that's Golden Ridge. So we're already like to the 5th level, which is pretty wild. But it's a fun one. This is Mirror Temple. My friend Theo and we decided to go check out this place, and it's really cool. It'd be a cool place to get a selfie, right? Because you kind of want to do that when you go to haunted temples for whatever reason. We also get introduced to another new mechanic, which are blocks that move when you dash. So at certain times you'll have to time your dashes in order to use or not use them. So it changes the dynamic of a dash, I guess, in a level design and such. We're taking this bubble over here to get to this section. That kind of didn't work out how I planned. So there can be certain times where you can sort of choke a lot, but we're going to try not to do that and get past it, even if it's not the way that I've practiced. But yeah, I'm definitely like... This game requires a good amount of concentration. So I'm definitely going to try to explain as much as I can, and if anybody has any questions about anything, about the run or anything like that, I'll get to it after the run is over. But yeah, with Mirror Temple, it's basically just doing this platforming stuff with these blocks that move and getting keys. So this room requires a key, but you don't need to get it, because there's a skip for it right here. Which is very cool. That's honestly like a really cool skip. This level in general has a lot of really cool skips. For higher speed runs, generally people don't do the A-sides very often. They often go in 5B and 6B because it's a lot faster. But, you know, I think the A-sides are really fun. So, especially 5A. So I am, in fact, a 5A enjoyer. Alright, so now we're embodying a Seeker, who are going to be our favorite friends in this level. Again, I'm not really too sure what they're supposed to represent. I imagine it's like a lot of like dysphoria and just generally a lot of negative stuff, like negative thoughts embodied. We were able to skip that, which is very nice. I don't always get that skip. Cutscene skip, that is. We got 4 cutscene triggers over here. And now we're basically just trying to get through this horrible place in our minds. And then we meet our first in-game Seeker that we don't control. And they're gonna be really fun. I promise. So they react to our movement, and you can also manipulate them in order to get stuff like coins. For this one, though, I like to just drop down. It's definitely a little easier. Oh. Yeah, but they will get you, so be careful. That was very nice. This one you can just bonk right away. I generally like to bonk the Seekers because they can be really annoying, as you can see. And it's just like, you know, why would you put something in the game that stresses me out so bad? But we don't have to deal with them for a second here, because we're on to our next chapter, which is Search, or Checkpoint, I should say. And there is a very fun skip in this area as well. So casually, there's an extremely long section in which we have to get these 2 keys. But we can just skip over it. with some precise movement and a reverse super jump. Or I guess super dash is the technical term because it's not really a jump. So we're just making our way through here. There is a coin hidden in this block, so we have to manipulate the seeker to get that so we can grab it. And that did not go well at all. Okay, that's a little better. This level can be a lot. Also, remember Theo? He's trapped in a crystal now, so we gotta go get him out. Gosh. And this is some of the most fun that you can have in this game, in which you have to do these traversal puzzles and such with these seekers and holding Theo. Theo can cancel a dash, so you can go fast with Theo if you dash into him. That first room generally gives me a lot of trouble, but the other ones might be better, who knows. There's definitely like a good amount of improv with these seekers and trying to get them to behave in the way that you want. It's not RNG, but it's fun to say that it is. So pretty much we're just making our way with Theo and trying to time our dashes very well. Which that was actually really great. It is fun sometimes to crush the seekers. Oh, that was not great. This room can be really funny, so you have to be very particular about when you throw Theo and when you dash. I have a really fun strat for this room, and luckily for us, it was the first try. So that's very nice. And this here is the last room of Mirror Temple. And I think this temple has not been too bad. It feels pretty good. Alright, that's Temple. And now we're going into Reflection with what appears to be like 26.5 minutes. That's pretty good. Reflection is the second to last level and one of the hardest. So basically, we're near to the top of this mountain. With our friend Theo, we just broke him out of the crystal and he's exhausted. We stop at a campfire for a while. And now I'm basically flying through these feathers. The feathers give you flight, and you can control this movement with the control stick, so often I'm moving between D-pad and control stick. Basically, we have an encounter with Battleline, and she knocks us all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. All that work was for naught. And that was extremely awful, so we're sort of having to deal with that. But it'll be fine. We'll be back up there in no time. So these here are Kevin blocks. You basically dash into them and they just sort of move wherever. And basically the majority of this level is going to be feather kind of traversal. Which it can be a little tricky sometimes. This Kevin block in particular is really fun. So we're going for a more casual strat type of here, or yeah, casual strat to get up to here. Some people will do neutrals to get up to this wall, but I'm definitely a little bit more comfortable doing it this way. Oh gosh, that didn't go at all well. So we use this Kevin to get across, and we can use him to get additional momentum. Gonna go to the top of this block so we can get our dash back. Makes that section a little bit quicker. But yeah, for the most part, this level is like all feathers and Kevins. And also, these little pinball guys, you can just sort of bump into them and they just take you in the opposite direction. And that was a very funny demonstration. I do not appreciate that. All right. We got that by the skin of our teeth, so that was really cool. But yeah, we're sort of dashing through walls, making our way through. Dashing into this pinball. I like to do this section without a feather. Some people do it with the feather into it. Again, it's like pretty much you just do whatever's comfortable for you. Because it's better to do stuff that you're comfortable with instead of things that may be faster if you do them correctly immediately. So it's definitely better to stick to what you know in certain times. Got a whole bunch of feather traversal here. They're in bubbles, so we have to dash into them, and we can't just grab them. There's Grandma. We don't... we just skip her cutscene. It's not that we don't care about what she has to say, but we're trying to go fast. There's a Kevin block here. We grab onto that. There's a couple of shortcuts in this area, and hopefully I get them. This one right here is pretty easy. But this one right here I have a little trouble with. So hopefully I get it. First try, very nice. That's very funny, Madeline. So now we have the only water section in the game, basically. This was originally a water level, and this is the only part that remained in water, so. Now we got our friend Big Kevin, and we're just gonna jump over these spikes. And we're almost to our boss fight with Battleline. If you got him, say hey ya. So basically the fireballs and lasers are sort of stuff to just psych you out. Unless they hit you, of course, but generally it's not really as bad as it seems. Initially it just looks scarier than it is. After you do it enough times, you just sort of get a feel for how it feels. But yeah, generally she just shoots fireballs and lasers and, you know, that's fun if you're into that stuff, but I'm not really into fireballs and lasers, so. I mean, conceptually they're very cool, but. But this hasn't been too bad so far. Okay, so I'm paying attention to where those are flying. But that's no big deal. We got it. Generally like to bait out the lasers a little bit before she fires them. But yeah, this has been a fairly good fight so far. Sometimes I don't make it to the bottom of there, and then I cry inside a little bit, but it's okay. Alright, we hit this feather. And I think we're approaching the end of phase 1 here pretty soon. You know, I say that and then we keep going with it. But it's okay. We'll get it. Alright, I'll go ahead and do a different spin on this, I guess. We did skip the laser, though. I think this is pretty close to the end of phase 1. So basically she's telling us that we can't do this. Obviously we can. We've done this many times before. But you know, when you try a new thing, don't be afraid. Or, you know, to be afraid. Okay. That room can be a little tricky for me sometimes. But now the thing that makes this phase a little bit different from the first is that now we have these moving platforms. And they can be a little scary sometimes. But in general, this phase is actually a lot shorter than the first. So if you got a pretty good phase 1, you've basically got it. Alright, gonna try not to hit any spikes. But after a while, you get to really appreciate the design of this boss fight. It's a super fun boss fight. Alright, then we go ahead and be safe and take that pinball up. And that's the battle and fight. So, you know, we've been getting off on the wrong foot, but eventually we reconcile our differences and decide to start working together. So now we've got 2 dashes. And that'll be very helpful because the hardest level is coming up, which is the climb to the summit from the bottom. And after a quick ascent up, we're gonna skip this cutscene, and that's it for Reflection. Honestly, this feels like pretty good pace. I don't know if this is PB pace or not, but it could be. The summit is the final exam in the game, so you're gonna see elements from every single level that we've done before in each section of this. So we're starting at the bottom at 0 meters. Oh. Starting from the bottom and going to the bottom. For whatever reason, I just have not been getting whatever strat I had before. But that's okay, because the rest of this can be good. But generally, this level makes your hands cry a lot. Definitely have to do quite a few summits to get used to it. It just makes your hands feel stupid. But yeah, this is near the end for 0 meters, and now we're approaching 500. Each one of these sections has a cutscene that we have to skip. But you can see our friends, the traffic blocks, have returned. And then we're just trying to get through each section. It's basically the same stuff as everything that you've seen, except it's a little more complex and you've got 2 dashes now. Alright. Very good. Oh, dang. Very nice. But yeah, also the orbs. Battle line helps you up, so it's good to get to the orbs. As they'll get you to the next section. Now we're at 1K, which is the reprise of Old Site. So we'll see our old friends, the Dream Blocks again. Also, this is definitely like my favorite song in the game. It's just so cool. Oh. This room always gets me. There was one time that it didn't get me, but most of the time it gets me. Alright, our beloved 1.5K. This area is pretty rough, but I'm going to try to say nice things about it in order to not have a bad time in it. Alright, we'll take that a little slower. This definitely slow. But yeah, it's our friends the Dust Bunnies again, but they're a little more complex than they were. That one in particular is very fun. Alright, now we're gonna walk off. Ooh, excellent. Sometimes this game has a way of surprising me. That's like part of the fun, is that you never know exactly how things are gonna go, even if you've done it 100 times. This game has so many variables in its movement and in its cycles. Alright. Have to time this just right, and I did, which is very nice. So there's a good little skip over here. We're gonna do an extended hyper dash and dash across in this room. Gets us to this room much quicker. Gosh. It's definitely a little scary, but it's fine. Even if you die a lot, it's like not a huge deal. I mean, you definitely don't want to die a lot, but death is not the life ruiner that you think it is, probably. So that's 1,500 meters, and now we're on 2K. This is gonna be our Golden Ridge sort of section. And there's a lot of really costly time deaths. You lose a lot of time if you die in a lot of these screens. So I'm gonna try not to do that, but I can't make any promises. Oh, almost. So I'm gonna try to do an extended hyper and jump across here like that. Good. Alright. Excellent. Good, that basically went the way that I wanted it to, so that's very nice. This is a very fun block puzzle in which you also have to get rid of another block so you can keep that one. There is a way to skip this one, but it's definitely very hard. We follow this block up, and this gets us to our next section. Definitely a little slower than I do, but it's fine as long as we don't die. It's good. Anything's good as long as you don't die. You do what works. Alright, this here is the final screen for 2K. And now we're at 2.5K, which is our Mirror Temple section. This is definitely about where the nerves normally kick in if you're on a really good pace. But it's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna try to do an extended hyper and I get it. So that way I can do that section a little bit faster. Alright. There's a key up here, and when we get this key, we are immediately going to Death Warp. Saves us a little bit of time. A lot of these platforms are a real pain. And we got our bubbles and our spikes. You know, they're just basically throwing everything in the kitchen sink at us. That has not been terrible. There are ways to skip these doors, but I generally prefer to do this because it works better for me. But there are ways to skip those doors using demo dashes. That was extremely lucky. Wow. If you die in this room, it is definitely a huge pain, so definitely do not try to die in this room. All right. Now 3K, the climb to the top. So we sort of have like mini obstacles at this point. These flags are like mini checkpoints. And feel free to count down if you wish. This is 26 right here. Oh no. $25. 24. 23. Oh, that was nice. Sometimes you just end up doing stuff and it surprises you. That's like one of the most fun things about running this game, is that you do something bonkers and you don't even realize that you did it and how you did it. So that's like part of the fun. 20 over here. And then that's almost it for the downdraft section. Soon we'll have the updraft. $18 there. 17's a little bit of a pain, but it's not too bad. There are definitely other more painful flags we'll see coming up. Oh. Let me go ahead and get 15 to be safe, even though I didn't need to. 14 gives me a lot of trouble a lot, so we're gonna try not to have a bad flag 14. All right, flag 13. Oh, shoot, dang. Definitely choke a little bit at flag 13 sometimes, but it'll be okay. We'll get through it. Flag 12. Flag 11. Flag 10, my beloved. Flag 9. This one gives me a lot of trouble a lot of the time. So that went very well. Flag 7, we skipped flag 8. I forgot to mention that. Flag 6. Flag 5, 4, flag 3, two, 1. Time will be coming up. And time. That's a new PB. $46.28. Excellent, excellent work. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and skip this cutscene, and I'm gonna show journal. But yeah, y'all saw it here. That's a new PB. Didn't have splits open, but that's fine. But yeah, that's an honest to God 46.28. Thank you all so much for watching my run and letting me be a part of this Daragamuffin. Please donate. It's for a wonderful cause. Would really like to shout out the Celeste community and my friends. Savadra in particular, Rick Fernello, Gino Loro, just a lot of really incredible people in my life and have encouraged me to push me harder into this game. And yeah, that's about it for me. If you want to go ahead and take it away.